now. Yes, I didn't say. What are you looking so sad about, Cap?
I'm surprised. I mean, I'm really insulted. That's not right, what you just said.
What do you mean, what I just said?
I mean, I'm getting a drink of water. I'm late getting home, but you talk. I said something about the greatest heavyweight champ, man. I'm a hometown man, and you talk about Joe Louis, man. Joe Louis wouldn't be nothing for me. Joe, I tell you, Joe, do you think you would have stood a chance with me?
Well, Clay, one time during my career, I was on a Bomber of Money tour.
I would have been a bum compared to you.
Would you be on the tour?
What's happening, my people? It's Cat Sports again, back for another afternoon with the family. That's right. You know what time it is. If it's Monday through Friday, 2 p.m., it's the Boxtorian, bringing you all that boxing history. Boxing is the greatest sport of them all. That's why we love it. Can't get enough of it. Miss Cass, Justin James, hashtag JBT, Mike Grimm. Salute to everyone and welcome to another episode of Cat Sports, the Boxtorian. Today, the 25 greatest heavyweight fights of the last 100 years. Has the family today. We had this Scratch the Great Britain show. It's going to be the 25 greatest heavyweight fights of the last 100 years today. Okay. It's Thursday, getting up late into this big week of boxing history. Tomorrow is going to be the life and career of the Gypsy King, Tyson Fury. But we're going to look at some of the great heavyweight matchups of the last 100 years. Okay, going all the way back to the around the 1920s, around in there. So we're going to start the day off with a great heavyweight fight for the fight of the day then. So let's get started with today's fight of the day. Okay, so today's fight of the day is, like I said, a great heavyweight fight. Muhammad Ali versus Zora Fowley, March 22nd, 1967. A less brilliant win before the exile. This was Muhammad Ali's last fight before his suspension from boxing in 1967. Ali versus Fowley. One last big win before the exile. March 22nd, 1967. The first prolific championship reign of Muhammad Ali, which saw him defend his title 8 times in 2 years, had, regrettably, always been as much about politics as it was about sports. Shortly after becoming champion, with an upset victory over Sonny Liston in 1964, the man the world knew as Cassius Clay revealed he was a member of the Nation of Islam and then changed his name. In 1966, he refused to be drafted into the military, citing his religious beliefs in opposition to the Vietnam War. The heavyweight champion of the world was already a pariah and a lightning rod of controversy. Now, for most, he was a disgraced draft dodger. There was little in the way of buzz or excitement for Ali versus Fowley. It didn't help that, unlike some challengers, the Texas native Fowley was always respectful, never bad-mouthing the champion or calling him by his birth name as others had. He even went out of his way to publicly thank Ali for giving him a title shot. After all, no one else had. But the political side of things came to the rescue and brought some renewed interest to the match. When the military issued Ali a summons for April 11th, the champion then talked up the possibility, soon to be proven correct, that the impending showdown with the draft board meant his career might be on ice for a while. This may be the last chance to see Muhammad Ali in living color, he declared. So if you have always been wanting to see me, you better come to the garden. And while it was not a sellout crowd in Madison Square, it proved to be a record gate for boxing in the garden. Not to mention, the first heavyweight title match in the venerable arena since the night Ezzard Charles defended the championship there against Lee Omer in 1951. That fight had attracted some 11,000 on a snowy January night. And while Ali versus Fowley drew just under 14,000, a respectable turnout given the fact that few, if any, gave Fowley a serious chance of winning. Officially, the challenger was a 7-1 underdog coming into this fight. 7-1 underdog, Fowley. BN Boxing News in the building. What's up, BN Boxing News? How are you today? Yeah, and we starting over. Our fight of the day is Muhammad Ali versus Zora Fowley. A salute to BN Boxing News in the building. Always good to see BN Boxing News. Always support and salute. Okay, let's continue with the fight of the day. Muhammad Ali versus Zora Folley. Okay. Yeah, there they are. The fight has started. Yeah, Folley came in 71 odds, underdog. But no one can say Folley wasn't game. That he didn't come to fight. In fact, his persistence resulted in him landing more flush blows on the Louisville lip than any previous challenger, with the possible exception of George Chuvalo, if you count the latter's groin shots. But although Folley landed the most punches on Ali that any previous opponent had, his many jabs and counter right hands caused Ali little concern. But Folley's persistence always meant he never varied his game plan, which was to patiently wait for a chance to land his counter right. And the lack of concerted pressure meant Ali could box as he pleased and revel in his natural advantages in height, reach, and quickness. Yeah, Folley didn't put up too much of a challenge at all, but he was game. He tried. Okay, he tried his best. In the early rounds, RNA Boxing in the building. What's up, RNA Boxing? Good to see you today. RNA Boxing, another great channel in these YouTube streets. Salute RNA Boxing. Okay. Yeah, fight of the day. Muhammad Ali versus Zora Folley. This was Ali's last fight before the suspension when they took his license and everything. Set them in exile for almost 4 years. Okay. Started in early 1967. It was late 1970 before he got back in the ring. This was the last fight before all that happened. Then in the early rounds, Ali, amazingly light on his feet, circled the ring and danced and worked to establish the tempo and distance he wanted. In round 3, he began boxing in earnest, putting some heat on his jab. And in round 4, the champion, clearly the bigger and stronger of the two, started countering Folley's left hand with a right cross. Soon after, Folley found himself face down on the canvas. For a moment, it looked like the fight was over, but Folley sprang up and beat the count, and then proceeded to fight with renewed urgency for the rest of the round. But it was clear that Ali was just too fast, while Folley struggled to maintain the champion's respect. For reasons unknown, Zora failed to keep his left hand up, and Ali continued the sharp shots with his right. Yeah, Folley, for some reason, didn't keep his left hand up. And as fast as Ali's right hand is, that's the last thing you want to do against Ali is carry your left hand low. But for some strange reason, Folley did that the entire fight. And it eventually ended up getting him knocked out, too. That was the first knockdown there. There he is, flat on his face. Okay. Still, Folley never appeared discouraged and kept coming forward to unload shots. A clean right hand in round 6 even caused Ali to take an involuntary backward step. And shortly after the start of the 7th, Folley landed another right and forced the champion to the ropes. But these fleeting moments of success meant little. He clearly lacked the power to hurt the champion, and it was Ali who was winning the rounds. Yeah, clearly Folley had fleeting moments of success, but Ali was taking all the rounds. Yeah, it was really a shutout by the time it ended. Now, in the end, it was the underrated power and astonishing hand speed of Ali that decided the outcome. While officially only 8 pounds heavier than Folley, Ali almost looked like he belonged in a different weight class compared to his smaller challenger. And when the champion came forward with his full weight on his shots, Folley was at a serious disadvantage. Midway through round 7, the champion connected with a counter right on Folley's temple and stunned the challenger. Ali's follow-up right throwing with amazing quickness, compounded the damage, and Fowley went down hard. He tried to rise, but could not beat the count. That was the end. He couldn't beat the count on that one. But he tried. He tried to rise. He did his best. He came in as a 7-1 underdog, so this is what everybody was expecting. Ali stoppage eventually. Yes, we got Justin James in the building today. Salute, Justin. Good to see you again, my friend. Now, a few weeks after the fight, Sports Illustrated interviewed Fowley and the veteran who held wins over a long list of capable pugilists, including Bob Foster, Doug Jones, Herbie Cooper, George Chuvalo, and Oscar Bonavena. Fowley had nothing but praise for Ali. Fowley said, "The right hands Ali hit me with just had no business landing. The knockout punch was so fast that I never even saw it. He has lots of snap. And when his punches land, they dizzy your head. They fuzz up your mind. He's the quickest fighter I ever saw." That was Fowley. In fact, as far as Zora Fowley was concerned, Muhammad Ali was the best heavyweight boxer who had ever stepped through the ropes, bar none. Yeah, there's the end. That's the last knockdown right there. When he finished him off. The last knockdown. Now, this is Fowley still talking about Ali. Fowley said he's had 29 fights and acts like he's had 100. The moves, the speed, the punches, and the way he changes style every time you think you got him figured out. This guy has a style all of his own. It's far ahead of any fighters around today. So how could those old-time fighters, Dempsey, Tunney, or any of them keep up with Ali? Yeah, Fowley was full of praise. But who would know better than Fowley how to rate the talent and skill of the undefeated adversary? Which makes the fact no one would see Ali step into a boxing ring again until October of 1970. All the more regrettable, if not tragic. The pugilistic peak of Muhammad Ali never happened. It was stolen from us, thanks to a misguided and tragic war and the politics of the day. But we got a glimpse of what might have been just before the door slammed shut. An unprecedented blend of speed, timing, footwork, durability, and yes, power that was virtually unbeatable. Or so said Zora Fowley. All right, there you have it, the fight of the day. Muhammad Ali versus Zora Fowley. Just Do Boxing. What's up, Just Do? Coming up at 4 p.m. I'm getting y'all good and warmed up for Just Do Boxing. That balanced, unbiased boxing talk. Y'all know everybody gets to Just Do Boxing. Even clowns like Ryan Garcia and Teofimo Lopez. Just Do Boxing, even give them their Just Do. Everybody gets to Just Do. And Just Do Boxing. Salute, Just. Okay, we're going to be talking about some of the classic heavyweight fights today. Okay? Some classic heavyweight showdowns today. I've said all week it was going to be boxing in Great Britain, but couldn't get that going. So, some classic heavyweight fight. It's going to be good. Okay, let's get it going. Okay, but as everybody, it's Thursday. Getting late in this big week of boxing history. Tomorrow's profile is going to be the Gypsy King himself, Tyson Fury. Is he retired? I know he's back to retired boxers, but yeah. Yeah, he's still retired. He hasn't fought yet since he said he was retired. So, but I heard he was coming back. Only fight I want to see is him against. I don't even really want to see that, but we never got him in Joshua, so we might as well get it. That'd be huge in Great Britain. That fight. Wembley Stadium, they probably go. It's like I think the capacity is like 90,000. They probably have to add some seats with Fury and Joshua, you know, in Wembley. Yeah, but other than that, I don't want to see him in Usyk again because I think the same thing gonna happen. It's just one of them cases where Usyk just has his number. He can't beat the man. I mean, they wasn't blowouts or anything, but you know, close fights with Usyk clearly was the winner. So you know, maybe if Fury had won one of them, or like Defiant Arnie said yesterday, maybe if one of them was a draw. But it's 2-0 Usyk, so we don't need no trilogy. Nah. Stay retired or fight Joshua. But we're going to talk about him tomorrow. The Gypsy King. Tyson Fury. Love him or hate him, the man had skills. For 6'9", you know. Kind of similar to Ali in that aspect. He could move like a middleweight or a welterweight, the way the man could move and stuff, you know. Yeah. Number on his feet for a big 6'9" guy. He has some skills. Gotta give him that credit. So we're gonna discuss him Friday. But right now we're gonna talk about some heavyweight classics. I think. But salute. Appreciate everybody in the building so far. Yeah, Justin said facts. That will be a huge fight. Yeah, they need to make that happen because, you know, they've been talking about it for so many years and everything, Justin. Just like Amir Khan and Kell Brook, it was like 100 years than it should have been, you know. But they finally did have the fight. They were both old and past the prime, but they finally had it. Fury and Joshua is the same exact situation, you know. And Brook stopped Khan. I think they were same thing would have happened if they would have been in their prime. I don't think Khan could have ever beaten Brook, but at least we got to see it. Okay, we're gonna talk about some heavyweight fights now. Okay. Now, as older generations know, there was a time when nothing in sports was held in higher regard than the heavyweight championship of the world in boxing. Names like Dempsey, Lewis, Marciano, Ali, and Tyson towered over even the biggest stars in football, baseball, and basketball. Now, those days have been gone for a while, but there's still something about a great heavyweight fight that gets people buzzing. So let's look at these fights we got for today. These heavyweight fights we're going to talk about, okay? Cassius Clay versus Sonny Liston. 1. This was in 1964. Still Cassius Clay then. This was the last fight before. Tor Foley was the last fight we just talked about before he got suspended and everything. Yeah. Now, it's easy to forget how dominant Sonny Liston was during the peak of his career. This is a man who demoralized Floyd Patterson with a first-round knockout in 1962 and 1963. But Liston is remembered most by non-boxing enthusiasts for being the victim of Cassius Clay's rise to the top of the boxing world. Now, there was a lot of talk about the Phantom Punch in the second fight and Liston owing money to the mob affecting the outcome. But Clay Liston won. Was a compelling fight. Clay's movement was mesmerizing in the first few rounds, avoiding Liston's power shot. But heading into the fifth round, things turned. As Clay complained of something being in his eyes. A lot of people say likely it was due to a mysterious substance on Liston's gloves. I don't believe that. I think what happened was Liston had a shoulder injury. They was putting some kind of ointment on his shoulder between rounds, and Ali in a clinch would leave his face on there. When it got to the corner, Angelo Dundee was wiping Ali's face and wiped that ointment down into his eye. I don't think Liston did anything illegal. That was done by Angelo Dundee, not on purpose, but Ali got that off of Liston's shoulder onto his forehead, and Dundee wiped it out into his eyes. That's what really happened. Okay, I think that's what really happened. But yeah, Clay was really a bit in the fifth and sixth round. He couldn't see. But once he regained his sight, he dominated Liston in the 6th, leading to Liston giving up on the stool before the 7th round, and a new boxing star was born. Cassius Clay, later to become Muhammad Ali. Okay, Evander Holyfield versus Michael Dokes. This was in 1989. Holyfield Dokes. Now, Evander Holyfield and Michael Dokes were in two very different places prior to clashing for the heavyweight championship in 1989. Okay, a former champion, Dokes worked his way back from drug addiction to earn a title shot. Meanwhile, Holyfield was a former light heavyweight who many doubted could make a dent in the heavyweight division. Now, Dokes came into the fight with confidence, landing some heavy punches at the start. But Holyfield proved a quicker fighter, both in movement and punches. In a memorable 8th round, Dokes had Holyfield against the ropes, wearing him down. But ultimately, Holyfield was just too quick, answering any questions about his power in a new weight class with a monstrous uppercut that sealed things in the 10th round. The Holyfield got the stoppage, and all the questions about whether he could punch and be a force in the heavyweight division stopped right then. Okay, Derek Jefferson versus Maurice Harris, 1999. Jefferson and Harris. 1999. Jefferson and Harris. Come up. Oh, there it is. Man, I don't know what's going on. There it is. Jefferson and Harris. I'm trying to use this voice command. I should just type it in. But anyway, Derek Jefferson versus Maurice Harris, 1999. Now, brawls like this simply don't happen anymore. Jefferson and Harris both looking to make a name for themselves in a loaded heavyweight division around that time. They didn't waste any time trading powerful shots during their 1999 Atlantic City showdown. Jefferson dropped Harris twice in the 2nd round before Harris turned things around with an epic right hand. It stands as one of the great rounds in heavyweight history. But the ending was perhaps even better. After being dropped by body shots, Harris began a rally that looked to put Jefferson away. But Jefferson dug deep with a massive left hook that ended things in sudden fashion. Any video montage of the greatest knockouts in boxing history isn't complete without this fight. Okay? Yeah, Jefferson got the stoppage with a massive left hook after it looked like he was done. Classic heavyweight fight. Okay, next. This thing is so loud. Next is Evander Holyfield versus Mike Tyson. Holyfield Tyson. There it is. It worked. Holyfield versus Tyson. This was the 1996. This was one. This wasn't the bite fight. This was the other one before the bite fight. Okay. Now, looking back, it was, of course, wishful thinking that Mike Tyson had returned in his thrilling pre-prison form, right? Everybody hoping he came back as Mike Tyson, leading up to his fight against a somewhat past his prime Evander Holyfield in 1996. But it was easy to believe back then, yet it was pretty clear early on in the fight that Mike Tyson was no longer Mike Tyson. The aggression was there, but the intimidating factor wasn't. Holyfield answered every Tyson surge, dropping Mike in the 6th round. Now, Tyson was famously a front runner. And aside from his shocking loss to Buster Douglas, this was the first time an opponent refused to back down. Despite throwing hard punch after hard punch, Iron Mike had no answer for Holyfield in the 10th round. Tyson went down firing, but things were appropriately put to a stop early on in the 11th round. And the aura of Mike Tyson's invincibility was officially gone. After this fight, it was officially gone. That was like, no. Everybody was hoping Mike gonna come out of prison and be Mike, the old intimidating, invincible Mike Tyson. But after that Holyfield fight in '96, that invincibility was officially gone. Okay. Gone. Okay, next. Joe Frazier versus Jerry Quarry. This was in 1969. Frazier Quarry, 1969. Overshadowed by flashier heavyweights, Jerry Quarry never got the credit he fully deserved. And his father had a lot to do with that, because Jerry Quarry was an excellent technical boxer, but his father was his trainer and manager. He sent him into the brawl because he said it pleased the crowds better. And he did both of his brothers the same way. Their father ruined all their careers. Jerry Quarry could have been had a much better career if it hadn't been for his father, right? So overshadowed by flashier heavyweights, Jerry Quarry never got the credit he fully deserved. There was no one tougher. Back in 1969, with Muhammad Ali in exile after refusing to fight in the war, Joe Frazier was the clearly best heavyweight in the world. It's something he proved a couple years later when he beat Ali. Now, Quarry had some impressive wins on his resume, and he showed confidence during the early rounds against Frazier. Quarry stayed on the attack, pummeling Frazier, but Quarry played right into Smoking Joe's hands. Once Smoking Joe heard Quarry's timing down, the fight was all but over. From the fourth round on, it was all Smoking Joe, with right hands and hooks that, despite Quarry's toughness, eventually led to a stoppage after the seventh round due to a nasty cut. Now, they fought again in 1974 to the same result. This time, Smoking Joe stopped him in the fifth round. Yep. Here's the historic one here. Big George Foreman versus Michael Moorer. This was in 1994. We're looking at some classic heavyweight fights today. This was George Foreman versus Michael Moorer in 1994 when Big George broke all kinds of records. He became the oldest man to win the heavyweight title at 45 years of age. It was the longest period of time in between a heavyweight champion losing the title and winning it back, 20 years. Remember, he lost it to Ali in 74 and won it back in 21 years, 95. And it was the biggest age differential in between two fighters in a heavyweight championship fight. Foreman was 19 years older than Moorer, okay? A 45-year-old Foreman shocking upset of Moorer in 1994 is still astonishing to watch to this day. It's not just the difference in age. It's just how deceptively slow Foreman looks throughout the fight. His power appears zapped as Moorer punches Foreman at will. In retrospect, Foreman was wearing Moorer down with his pressure, almost lulling him to sleep before scoring some significant blows. By the time Foreman had worked Moorer into position for the big right hand that finished the fight, Moorer had nothing left. Foreman became the oldest man to win the title, leaving everyone, including the commentators, speechless. If you watch that fight, Foreman had Moorer right where he wanted him, because the punch before the one that got Moorer, Foreman landed the shot, but it was up on the forehead. Then he adjusted, the next one was down on the chin. So Big George knew exactly what he was doing that entire fight. Rewatching it, you can see that. He was slowly, everybody thought it was just a lucky punch in the 10th. No. He slowly broke Moorer down over that entire fight. And he had the great Angelo Dundee in his corner. Watch the final sequence. He hit him with a shot that caught him right in the forehead just before the one that got him on the chin and got him out of there. Yep. He had him lined up for that. That wasn't no lucky punch. That was all set up about the fight. Big George Foreman. Okay. Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury. Thomas Hill in the building. What's up, Thomas Hill? And Al Booger in the building. The legendary Thomas Hill and the professor, Al Booger. We're looking at some classic heavyweight fights today, gentlemen. That's all. Yeah, we just talked about George Foreman. I know T. Hill probably have seen it. Everybody thinks that was a lucky shot he got more with, but no, he set that up. He had him right where he wanted him. Wore him down. And like I said, the shot before that one, he got him up high. But then he readjusted, and the next shot, he got him right in the chin and got him out of there. So it was not a lucky punch. It was not a lucky punch. And Teddy Atlas, Michael Moore's trainer, knew it because he told Michael Moore, you got to fight one boxing. The Moore ran up into the pocket and wanted to, I guess he was going to try for the stoppage since he thought he had dominated Foreman the entire fight, but it backfired on him. Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury. This was in 2018. Everybody remember that one. There's a reason a sequel fight. This is in 2000. I'm going to go past that one. Because when this article was made, they hadn't had 2 and 3 yet. So let's move on. Ike Iwabuchi versus David Tua. Didn't he just fight? Iwabuchi? Somebody said he was coming back. Yeah, there was no lucky shot to advantage of how he was reacting to what he was doing. And Moore refused to outbox the rest of the fight. Exactly, T. Hill. That's what happened. Yeah. Yeah, Iwabuchi versus Tua. Somebody said, I heard he was getting ready to fight again. He went to prison. He was 20 years old when he went to prison. His career was still going on. I think he had sexual assault or something like that. But yeah, I heard Iwabuchi was getting back in the ring. Now, Iwabuchi versus David Tua isn't for the weak of heart. This was a brutal showdown, famously highlighted by the CompuBox numbers. The two heavyweights drew 1,730 punches over the course of 12 rounds. That's 139 more than the Thriller in Manila, which was 2 rounds longer. Okay? Thriller in Manila was 2 rounds longer, and Iwabuchi and Tua threw 139 punches more. Even leaning on each other in the final rounds, Iwabuchi and Tua continued to throw. It was a close fight, but ultimately, the underdog, Iwabuchi, got his hand raised. Yeah, Ike won that one. And this is a huge one here too. Look at that, some classic heavyweight fights. Buster Douglas and Mike Tyson, 1990. Douglas Tyson, 1990. Not just boxing, this was one of the biggest upset in sports history. This was up there with the miracle of 1980. Remember, the United States hockey team beat the Russians in the Olympics? The Russians, the Russian athletes in the Olympics, like 29, 30 years old. And we had a bunch of college kids from the United States over there, and they beat the Russians. The Miracle on Ice, that's what it was. Not the Miracle of 1980, the Miracle on Ice. This upset with Buster Douglas and Mike Tyson was up there with that. Now, it is the biggest upset in boxing history. Maybe the biggest upset in the history of professional sports. Mike Tyson was the most dominant and unstoppable force boxing he had ever seen. Now, Buster Douglas was a 42-1 underdog. Now, let that sink in. 42-1, right? Yet, right from the start, Douglas was the crisper fighter. He worked his jab, mixing in well-timed rights that pushed Tyson into uncharted waters. Now, Tyson's left eye began to swell, and the unthinkable was setting in. Could this actually happen? Then, late in the 8th round, Tyson landed an uppercut that appeared to put things back in order. Douglas was floored. Now, had the referee started the count a second or two earlier, the fight likely would have been over, and boxing history would have gone very differently. We'll never know, right? But the referee started the count late, and Douglas' knockout of Tyson in the 10th round is stunning. It's as stunning as boxing gets. Now, Douglas nearly removed Tyson's head from his body, leaving the champion dazed and on the mat, looking for his mouthpiece. It wasn't just a knockout. It was 10 rounds of disbelief, culminating with an astonishing ending. Yeah. Tyson got Mike got the quick count. Douglas got the long count. And it changed history. The referee that did his job right, we wouldn't be talking about this fight today. But yeah. Buster got the long count, Mike got the short count, and that's what happened. But Buster did fight a good fight too. You can't take that away from the man. He did a great job. Rocky Marciano versus Ezzard Charles, 1954. I think this is one. Yeah, one. Now, the first fight between Marciano and Charles stands as one of the few times any fighter ever came close to defeating the great Marciano. A couple times. Roland Lastarza came close to. Now, Ezzard Charles even admitted after the fight, he thought he won, which is highly debatable. Now, Charles' technical style and defensive skills proved a real problem for Marciano, who preferred to brawl. Now, Rocky nearly got his way, almost finishing Charles in the 6th round. After the fight was over, Marciano said the fight was as tough as his first fight against Jersey Joe Walcott, a compliment of the highest order. And Rocky was more than happy to give Charles a rematch. It was the same year. This one ended with Rocky finishing Charles in the 8th round, because the first fight was the first time anybody had went the distance with Rocky in a title fight. Yep. But Rocky gave him the rematch, and then he stopped him the second time. Michael Moorer versus I can't even see the name. Oh. Michael Moorer versus Bert Cooper. Okay. Bert Cooper. I wrote that. I couldn't read the name. Bert Cooper. Right. Michael Moorer versus Bert Cooper. I got terrible handwriting. Yeah, there they are. Now, it didn't take 5 rounds for Michael Moore's 1992 fight with Bert Cooper to become the stuff of legend. Now, Cooper came out like a man on a mission, bringing the fight to the champion. Now, Moorer dropped him in the 1st round. Now, as the announcers correctly pointed out, the fight was definitely not going to go 12 rounds. Moorer got dropped in the 1st round, excuse me. Cooper brought the fight to Moorer and dropped him in the 1st round. And then Moorer rebounded, and the two fighters exchanged knockdowns leading into the 5th round. A tired Cooper never stopped being aggressive, which was his downfall. Moorer finished the fight by putting Cooper in between the bottom ropes with a right uppercut and a left hook. And that was nighty-night after that. Yeah, that was the end of it. Now we go back a ways. We have James J. Braddock and Max Baer. This is 1935, okay? That's Max Baer on the right and James J. Braddock on the left. I thought that was Jack Dempsey in the middle, but I don't think so. I don't know who that is in the middle. It's not Jack Dempsey. But Braddock and Baer. Braddock on the right, Baer on Baer on the right, Braddock on the left. 1935. I was in the promotion in the lead up to the fight. They promoted fights back then. Now, immortalized in the film Cinderella Man, Braddock and Baer's fight in 1935 was every bit worthy of its cinematic status. Now, Bayer, who was rightfully seen as an unstoppable force and a 10-1 favorite coming in, his team handpicked Braddock, a seemingly over-the-hill fighter who had put together a string of impressive wins for the easy payday. But Bayer fought recklessly, allowing Braddock to tire him out with body shots and crisp jabs. Now, Bayer's antics, which included dropping his hands, fast talk, and low blows, got the best of him. By the time Bayer seemed to take things seriously, Braddock's dominance was clear. The crowd at Madison Square Garden makes this fight, okay? The disbelief underscores just how shocking both fighters' performances were, with an outcome no one anticipated. Yeah, this is what that movie, The Cinderella Man, was made off this fight. Braddock was a 10-1. Braddock was a 10-1 underdog, but he came in there and he won the fight. Bayer played around and stuff and got beat. By the time he started being serious, he was way behind on the cards, and he lost the fight. Yeah. I thought it was Jack Dempsey at first, but no, that's not Jack Dempsey. I don't know who it is. One of them fighters from back then. Okay, Lennox Lewis versus Vladimir Klitschko. Lennox Lewis versus Vladimir Klitschko. There it is. We're winding down. Okay, this was in 2003. Now, the 2003 fight between Lennox Lewis and Vitaly Klitschko. This was Vitaly. Sorry, I said Vladimir. This was Vitaly Klitschko. The 2003 fight between Lennox Lewis and Vitaly Klitschko was supposed to be just a stop on the road to a rematch between Lewis and Mike Tyson. But Klitschko had other ideas. He didn't get the memo, right? He was supposed to be a stop on the road for Lewis on the way to Tyson. Klitschko hurt Lewis in the first round, bringing out something many hadn't seen in Lewis, a true fight. Lewis' jabs saved him from early trouble, but it was clear he was in for an action-packed fight. It's likely this fight would have ended up lower on this list had a nasty cut above his left eye not done Klitschko in. Despite both men tiring, Klitschko was clearly winning the fight, but the bleeding could not be stopped, and the fight was called after the 6th round. Klitschko was furious, and a rematch seemed inevitable, but it never happened. Lennox Lewis retired. Yeah, that had rematch written all over it. And both of Klitschko's losses were stopped on injuries. I think the other one was Chris Bird to a shoulder injury, right? And he lost that one because of an injury and lost this one to Lewis. He was clearly winning both fights. We could have had another undefeated champion. But yeah, Lewis never gave him the rematch. He retired. Then he tried to say, I was planning on retiring before the fight. No, you didn't want to get in there with Vitaly no more, Lennox. We know. You did 100. Yeah, Vitaly was winning. But, the cut was so nasty, they couldn't stop it. They let Tim Tszyu and what's his name, Fedora continue. The cut wasn't bad as neither one of them two was bleeding, But anyway, next is, we're winding down now. Next is Floyd Patterson and Ingemar Johansson, a classic. They had a trilogy. All three ended in stoppage. 61. I think this might be the third one. Let's see. The first two fights between Patterson and Johansson tell two very different stories. Now, Johansson bested Patterson in the first fight, knocking him down. He clearly underestimated Johansson. He knocked Patterson down 7 times in the first fight. And the only way to do it justice is to watch Patterson getting to his feet time and time again before the referee mercifully stopped the fight in the 3rd round. Then the second fight ended with Patterson viciously knocking Johansson out in the 5th round. At the time, it was one of the most brutal knockouts in boxing history. Back then, boxing trilogies were rare. So this is the third fight. The third fight between the two proved even more suspenseful, with, for the first time, both heavyweights going down in the first round. It was a back-and-forth slugfest. Even a tired Johansson managed to fight back in later rounds, but ultimately, Patterson, who overcame 2 knockdowns in the first round, knocked Johansson senseless in the 6th round. It's one of the most compelling 10 counts you'll ever see. Despite his mind trying to will his body to do so, Johansson had no answer. And then I think he was out for like 5 minutes. Once he stopped trying to get up. This was one of the biggest upsets in boxing history right here. Max Schmeling versus Joe Louis, 1936. 1936. One of the biggest upsets in boxing history. Schmeling and Louis fought twice, both historic fights. The one most people remember and talk about is their 1938 showdown, when Louis slayed the German Schmeling in less than in the first round. In 2 minutes of the first round, and Schmeling spent 2 months in the hospital for a 2-minute fight, right? That fight ended quickly, but the 1936 fight stands as an all-time classic. Nearly 2 months before the Berlin Olympics, when Nazi propaganda was reaching an all-time high, Schmeling was billed as the pride of the Aryan race by Adolf Hitler, taking on heavyweight champion and American Louis. Louis wasn't the champion yet, though. It became a fight about racial supremacy, even if the combatants were more focused on just being the best boxer in the world. Louis was undefeated and the heavy favorite, dominating the early round. But it was strategy that did in the greatest heavyweight of all time. Despite his eye being swollen shut, Schmeling took advantage of Louis' infatuation with his hook, which was slightly less successful than his jab, taking over the fight with repeated straight and overhand rights. Schmeling finally finished Louis with an uppercut and devastating right in the 12th round, to the pleasure of the Nazi party. Louis would get his and the world's revenge 2 years later. But no, we didn't have to wait that long. 2 months later, Jesse Owens went over there and got the revenge with them 4 gold medals right in front of Hitler in those Olympics, remember? I know Hitler was cursing Jesse Owens out. Jesse Owens went over there, and it was in Berlin. Jesse Owens got not 1, not 2, not 3, 4 gold medals in the Berlin Olympics, 1936. That was a straight slap in the face to Hitler and the Nazis. Yep, 2 months after that fight, too. Anthony Joshua versus Vladimir Klitschko, 2017. Jay Gibson in the building. What's up, Jay? Yeah, I apologize to you, Jay. I kept saying Jay Gibbons last time. Jay Gibson, TWT. Long as I've been knowing Jay in these YouTube streets. But salute Jay Gibson from the TWT family, the winning team. Group of great, knowledgeable men and women talking boxing over there. Okay, yeah, we're talking about some classic heavyweight fights today. Okay, we're down to the top 10 now. Anthony Joshua versus Vladimir Klitschko. This was in 2017. Okay, yeah, Joshua and Vladimir Klitschko. Okay, and then lost track of where I was at. But bear with me for a minute, please. We're gonna get back on track. Oh my goodness, what did I just do? Okay, there we go. How's everybody this afternoon? Now, yeah, Anthony Joshua and Vladimir Klitschko. There's where we at right there. Hit the wrong button. It is Anthony Joshua celebrating. This was in 2017, this fight was. Now, after the first rather uneventful 4 rounds of Anthony Joshua and Vladimir Klitschko fight in front of 90,000 at Wembley Stadium, okay, packed to the gills, they're going to need some more. I think 90,000 is the capacity. They're going to need to add some seats if Joshua and Fury fights over there. But it appeared things might not live up to the hype because the first 4 rounds were uneventful. That changed in the 5th round when Joshua overwhelmed Klitschko and put him on the mat. And overzealous Joshua punched himself out trying to finish Klitschko and was nearly taken out in the 6th round himself. This was 2 great athletes following solid game plans throughout. But Joshua eventually got his energy back and put Klitschko away in the 11th to end a fantastic back and forth affair. Your Joshua got a 2nd win. Okay. Number 9 is Muhammad Ali versus George Foreman, 1974. The Rumble in the Jungle. You find on, he says, I respected Vladimir a lot more after that AJ fight than I did before. Yeah, that was a great fight there, Arnie Boxing. Yeah. He got stopped, but it was back and forth action. It wasn't one-way traffic. It was definitely a back and forth fight. But Joshua just seemed like he got that 2nd win in like the middle of the late rounds and, got the stoppage in the 11th. But a great fight. Muhammad Ali versus George Foreman, 1974. The Rumble in the Jungle. Now, you know pretty much all you need to know about the Rumble in the Jungle. George Foreman was regarded as the hardest heavyweight puncher of all time. A force that would be too strong for a potentially over-the-hill Muhammad Ali, who was a 4-1 underdog. And in the locker room before the fight, George Foreman and his team got on their knees and prayed that Foreman didn't kill Ali in the ring that night. That's how overconfident they was that they were going to beat Ali. And not only beat him, destroy him. They actually prayed that he didn't kill him and Ali in there. Ali was 4-1. And for most of the fight, it looked like things would play out that way. Ali's plan was what he later called the rope-a-dope, a stick-and-move approach, requiring Foreman to exhaust more energy than he ever had. Now, Foreman hit Ali hard, but it was Ali who mentally dominated the fight throughout, waiting for Foreman to get tired and finishing him with a swift combination capped by a hard right hand. The crowd in Zaire erupted as Ali shockingly raised his hands in victory. Yeah, Foreman said about the 6th round, he hit Ali harder than he ever hit anybody. He said Ali looked back at him and said, that's all you got, George? And Foreman said, that's when I realized this was not what I thought it was going to be. Foreman said he looked at him and said, that's all you got, George? Ali had a great poker face. You know damn well that hurt him, but he said, that's all you got? George said, this was not what I thought it was going to be. This was a big one here, too. This could have changed history. Lewis and Billy Conn. Because right in the middle of those 25 fight winning streak Joe Louis had, he fought Billy Conn, and Billy Conn almost beat him, right? But Billy Conn got greedy and was winning the fight. Joe Louis needed a knockout after it was 15 rounds then. After 12, Joe Louis needed a knockout, and Billy Conn was boxing very well, but then he got greedy, and Billy Conn went for the knockout in the 13th round and got knocked out. Let's talk about it. It was 1941. 1941. Now, in 1941, Joe Louis was the be-all, end-all of the heavyweight division. No one was going to beat him. But Billy Conn was no bum. He was really coming up from light heavyweight. Many regarded Conn as one of the most talented fighters in the world at that time. The fight between Conn and Louis was huge. Nearly 60,000 people at the Polo Grounds in New York. Louis was bigger and better than Conn, especially early. But in the 3rd, Conn shook Louis with a slick combination. From that point on, things went back and forth. Conn would rock Louis, who would return the favor, sometimes in the same round. There were several times, most notably in the 12th round, when it appeared Lewis might actually lose. But Khan went in for the kill in round 13 and was reminded just how powerful Lewis was. A hard right led to more precise punches and an absolute beatdown of Khan, whose heart was in it, but his body eventually gave in. Yeah, history would have been changed. We wouldn't have had that 25 straight title defenses of Lewis, that decades, only man to be champion for an entire decade. None of that would have happened. But Billy Khan got greedy. All he had to do was keep boxing. George Foreman versus Ron Lyle, 1976. Fight of the year, 1976. And they had round of the year in there too. George Foreman versus Ron Lyle. This was a doozy here. Ant McQueen in the building. Salute Ant McQueen from the Casual's Corner podcast. You have not watched the fight until you watch one after the Casual's Corner podcast. George Foreman versus Ron Lyle. Okay, 1976. This was a doozy. Anybody haven't seen this fight, please watch it. It was only 5 rounds, but wow, for those 5 rounds. Now, George Foreman was by no means done after losing the Rumble in the Jungle to Ali. But his reputation as an unstoppable force was shattered. That set the stage for his next fight, which was against Ron Lyle, who was ready and willing to take the fight to Foreman. Now, these were 2 very powerful men who each hurt the other in the opening rounds. But it was the 4th round that solidified this as one of the all-time great heavyweight showdowns. That was the round of the year, the 4th round. It was the fight of the year too, 5-round fight. 4th round. Now, when Lyle dropped Foreman, it made you wonder if the Ali fight was truly the beginning of the end for Foreman. But Foreman got up like a man who was barely hurt. He then unleashed the left hook on Lyle. It should have ended the fight. But Lyle had just as much heart as Foreman, right? Foreman and Lyle threw everything at each other in the 4th and 5th rounds. Lyle had to be asking himself, what is it going to take? And before the answer could come, Foreman put Lyle down for good in the 5th round. But that was a Donnybrook, yeah. People like hard punching and knockouts. That's the fight for you right there. Foreman and Lyle, 1976. Riddick Bowe versus Evander Holyfield. Bowe Holyfield. Here it is. Okay, yeah. 1992. I think this was one. This wasn't a bite fight. This was the first one, yeah. Yeah, this was the first fight between these two. Now, right from the start of the 1992 clash, Riddick Bowe was a problem for Evander Holyfield. The champion made a name for himself at heavyweight by staying on the outside and outworking heavier opponents. But Bowe was able to keep Holyfield at bay with a stellar jab throughout their first fight. Now, it appeared things would end in the 10th round after Bowe hit Holyfield, whose right eye was swollen shut. He hit him with an uppercut and then a left hand. But Holyfield bounced back, turning the tide and making it look as if Bowe would not survive the 11th round. Now, Holyfield did everything he could to put Bowe away in the final 2 rounds, but Bowe made it through, winning as an underdog by unanimous decision. Yeah, that was a great one there too, Bowe and Holyfield. Here's another one. Those great heavyweight Donnybrooks back in the 70s. Larry Holmes versus Ken Norton, 1978. This was Holmes' first title. This was Norton's first title defense. And Norton is I gotta remember how that goes now. Norton is the only heavyweight champion that never actually won a heavyweight championship fight. Okay? The only heavyweight champion that never actually won a heavyweight championship fight, because he got awarded the title after the WBC stripped Leon Spinks. And this fight with Larry Holmes was his first title defense, which he lost. And then he never had another championship fight after that. So Ken Norton is the only heavyweight champion in history that never actually won a heavyweight championship fight. Okay. Now, there was a lot of drama in the lead up to the 1978 WBC heavyweight championship fight between Ken Norton and Larry Holmes, because there was 4 heavyweight champions, and the WBC had 4 heavyweight champions in a 4-month period at that time. There was a lot of drama going on. Much of it had to do with 2 other fighters. After beating Muhammad Ali for the title, Leon Spinks refused to fight Norton, looking towards a bigger payday in an Ali rematch. No brainer. Thus, the belt was stripped from Spinks and given to Norton. So that made Norton the 3rd champion. Still in that 4-month period, he went from Ali to Spinks to Norton. Now, fans were still anticipating the Spinks-Ali rematch, but the better fight would take place a few months earlier. Holmes versus Norton featured the kind of momentous shifts that make any fight compelling, with each imposing his skill at various times during the fight. And it all builds to what may be the greatest round in heavyweight history, and certainly one of the greatest final rounds boxing has ever seen. The fight truly came down to the 15th round on the scorecards. Now, with Norton winning the first half of the round, Holmes finally came alive. Had the fight lasted another minute, Holmes may have stopped Norton, but it was still enough to get Holmes the edge on the scorecards. Yeah, that was crazy. Because by round 13, it was dead even, right? And Holmes just dominated Norton in 13, so everybody thought Holmes had it. But then Norton came back in 14, evened it up again. And then 15, Norton dominated the first half of the round. Everybody was like, that's it, Norton got it. Then in the second half, Holmes came alive and took the fight. Wow, that was some fight there. Larry Holmes, Ken Norton, 1978. I don't know if that was fight of the year or not. Not sure about that. Jack Dempsey versus Louis Firpo. This was in 1923. The Autism Boy in the building. What's up? Autism Boy. Cottage One in the building. Salute. Everybody subscribe to the Autism Boys channel. Anybody with a channel can always welcome to drop your link in. That's the open invitation. Always welcome to do that. Let's salute the Autism Boy. Cottage One. We're talking about what are we talking about? Oh, great heavyweight fights. Down to the final 4. Okay, yeah. Larry Holmes Norton started the final 5. Final 4. You're gonna get some leak time today too. I got some other things gonna take us to like 325, 330. Jack Dempsey versus Louis Firpo. This was 1923. This fight had like 11 or 12 knockdowns, and it only lasted 2 rounds. Let's see. I think it might have been 10 knockdowns, but it only lasted 2 rounds. 10 knockdowns in 2 rounds. So you're talking about any great heavyweight fight list, this one got to be on it. Jack Dempsey, Louis Firpo, 1923. And this made, well, this didn't make the 100 years. This is in 1923, but couldn't leave it off. Last 102 years then, okay? Greatest heavyweight fights in the last 102 years, right? This was 1923. And this was one of the trademark moments of Dempsey's iconic career and one of the most historic fights in boxing history. Dempsey Firpo was the biggest fight ever up to that point, with nearly 90,000 set for the Polo Grounds in New York and another 25,000 standing outside, right? What's that, like 115,000 people? 90,000 in the building, another 25,000 standing outside, just to say they were there, right? Now, Dempsey had held the title for 5 years. Firpo was the first Latin American fighter to challenge for the World Heavyweight Championship at that time. He was a heavy hitter. Still, no one expected what occurred. Firpo dropped Dempsey in the early going of the first round. Now, watching the fight these days is hard to notice. Dempsey storms in only to be met with a right hand. They briefly put him on one knee, which unleashed the gas from the crowd. Now, Dempsey stormed back, knocking Firpo down 7 times in the first round. 7 times. So that's 8. Yeah, you heard me right. 7 times. So that's 8. And remember, Firpo had knocked Dempsey down already. But Firpo wasn't done. He nailed Dempsey in the chin later in the round. And Dempsey went through the ropes. So that's 9 times in the first round. In dramatic fashion, landing on the table where the press was at. Right? Now Dempsey made it back into the ring with a massive cut on his head and made it into the second round, where he dominated and dropped Firpo again for the final time. So 10 knockdowns in 2 rounds, 9 in the first. And when Dempsey got knocked out of the ring, it was like less than 10 seconds. They got him back in the round, and he went to his corner. He was so stunned, he asked his corner, who won the fight? They was like, no, that was just the end of the first round, Jack. Yeah. So it was winning a total of 14 matches in his career. Yeah. Autism boy. Salute. I remember. Okay. Final 3. Okay, we have next is gotta have this one. This is definitely top 5 when you're talking about heavyweight fights. Rocky Marciano and Jersey Joe Walcott won 1952. This was okay. You don't fight 49 fights in your career and go undefeated without at least one close call, even if you're a Rocky Marciano. In September 1952, champion Jersey Joe Walcott nearly beat Marciano. Walcott knocked Marciano down in the first round and imposed his will for the better part of the next 12 rounds. And had it gone to the scorecards, it would have been all Jersey Joe. But in the 13th, Walcott let his guard down just a bit, going for a feint and a right hand. Now, before Walcott could land, Marciano hit him with Suzy Q, a wicked right, and then folded Jersey Joe. It happens so fast when you're watching. If you blink, you might miss it. Even by today's standards, it was as vicious a punch as you can see. Yeah, Jersey Joe. I like they swung just about at the same time, but Rocky, it wasn't really a counter. They like swung at the same time, but Rocky landed first. They say Jersey Joe was out for 5 minutes. 2 and 1 is Joe Frazier, Muhammad Ali. Number 2 is 1, the fight of the century. Now that was iconic. I told y'all how iconic that was. Mike said he disfigured his face in one shot. Now this fight was so iconic that it was March 8th, 1971, Ali Frazier won. It was so iconic. On the 30th year anniversary, March 8th, 2001, the 2 daughters fought. They don't get no more iconic than that. The 2 daughters fought to celebrate the 30th anniversary of this fight. The fight of the century, and the first 2 undefeated heavyweights. First time 2 undefeated heavyweights had fought each other for the title, right? And they both had a legitimate claim because Ali had been stripped. He didn't lose it in the ring, but that wasn't Joe Frazier's fault. And after Ali got stripped, Joe Frazier had won it in the ring, and they settled it, right? First time 2 undefeated heavyweights had ever fought each other for the title, too. And to think, it actually surpassed the immense hype of the fight. It passed the hype. The first 2 rounds were all Muhammad Ali, which of course was Frazier's plan. I don't think Joe Frazier ever won a first round in his career. Okay? Joe Frazier always started slow. I don't think he ever won a first round. Okay? Now, Joe Frazier's style required him taking punishment as he got his opponent's timing down. It was clear in the 3rd round And Frazier had figured out Ali, hitting him with a hook that changed the fight. Frazier's bruising style wore Ali down. The fight was close, but Frazier left no doubt in the 15th round with one of the most iconic left hooks of all time. Frazier knocked Ali down. Yeah, that's it there. That's one of the most famous pictures of all. That's a variation of it because it's another one where Ali is on the way down. Further down, the more famous one. Okay. But yeah, he knocked Ali down in the final round, and that put the nail in the coffin. Ali showed tremendous heart in getting back to his feet. But Frazier got the unanimous decision. But that fight made both fighters proven legends, even before this one, the Thriller in Manila. Okay, yeah. The second fight was I think it wasn't a title on the line or anything in the second fight. I think the NABF, like a minor title, North American Boxing Federation, was on the line in that fight, the second fight. But yeah, this fight, the first two fights was the big ones, WBA, WBC. You know, that was the undisputed at the time. If you had those two, you were undisputed. IBF was like 12 years away, and the WBO was almost 20 years away at that point. So then the Thriller in Manila is it, final one. 1975 in the Philippines. Best fight, heavyweight, whatever weight class of all time, the Thriller in Manila. Now, Frazier won the first fight decisively. Ali took the second, though controversially, because Frazier and Eddie Fuss complained that the referee never penalized Ali or even warned him about that holding. But early in that third fight, the referee, like the first, I think it was the second round, the referee walked up to Ali, and you know, Ali used to hold behind the head, and grabbed Ali's hand and threw it off. Like, we're not going to have that this fight. So the referee early in that fight, because Frazier had complained so bitterly in that second fight, the third fight, the referee, I think it was the second round, walked up and grabbed Ali's glove and threw it off of Frazier's neck. Like, we're not going to have that this time. So the third fight came with a tremendous amount of excitement. Even the fans had some doubts about the two icons of the sport had left in the tank. Now, the fight began as if Ali was the fresher of the two fighters, controlling Frazier with his jab. Of course, Frazier lost the first couple rounds, like he always did. Now, Ali's hands still had zip, while Frazier looked sluggish. Ali eventually went to a rope-a-dope, trying to tire Frazier out. But he soon realized that Frazier wasn't George Foreman. Frazier was in the best fight of his life. Before this fight, Frazier said he wanted to win this fight more than any other fight ever. He said he couldn't even believe he wanted to win it more than he wanted to win the first fight. But yeah, he was in the best fight of his life. Ali originally thought that Joe was done, and he said, give Joe the fight just to let him have to pay that. After the fight, Ali said, I wish I had just gave him the money, right? Without fighting him. But he realized Joe Frazier wasn't George Foreman. Joe wasn't going to just tire out like that. As the fight went on, Frazier got stronger, catching Ali with left hooks and powerful body shots. And the two brutalized each other in a fight that clearly took a lot out of their careers, probably the best of whatever each had left. Now, Ali regained control towards the end of the fight. Swelling in Frazier's eye eventually made it impossible for him to see some of the punches Ali was throwing at him. Frazier's trainer, Eddie Fuss, stopped the fight after the 14th, despite Frazier's pleas to continue. Both fighters were at the point of exhaustion, a fitting and grueling way to end the greatest feud and stylistic matchup in boxing history. There you have it. Those were some of the greatest heavyweight fights in boxing history. I'm gonna put the link in now because it's 20 after. Mike Mazik in the building. What's up, Mike Mazik? How are you today? Yeah, those were some of the greatest heavyweight fights in boxing history. You know, like I was saying at the start, at one time, the heavyweight champion of the world was the man, bigger than any football, basketball, hockey, baseball. Heavyweight champion was the man at one point in history, you know. And still ain't nothing like a good heavyweight fight, you know. Right now, today, nothing like it. A good heavyweight Donnybrook, right? Yeah. And yeah, Ali, Frazier 1 and 3, top 2. It's gonna be hard any point in the history of boxing to top, especially the Thriller in Manila. They just dug down. You talk about bite down on the mouthpiece. They bit through the mouthpiece, both of them, in that fight. Like after round 10, I don't know how either one of them kept coming out there, because when the bell rang, they were like moving in slow motion back to the corners. But when the bell rang for the next round, they were both coming right back out there, going right back at it again until the 14th round. Frazier couldn't even see. And he was arguing with his trainer, Eddie Futch, to let him come back out. He said, "I want him, boss." But Eddie Futch was like, "No." And Ali did say later, I saw him on a late night show say he wasn't coming back out either. And there was a rumor story that he told Angelo Dundee to cut his gloves off after 14, but Angelo Dundee said that didn't happen. So, yeah. But I heard Ali say out of his own mouth on a TV show one time that he wasn't coming back out. But maybe he said that after them. I couldn't see Ali quitting. If Frazier would have came out, Ali was coming out. Because after the fight, Ali wasn't going to the post-fight press conference until somebody came in his dressing room and told him Frazier was at it. So then Ali had to go then. He couldn't let Joe Frazier outdo him. And see, Ali was too beat up to make the post-fight press conference. When he found out Joe Frazier was there, of course he went, you know. Of course he went then. He couldn't have it saying, well, Joe Frazier made the post-fight. Ali was too beat up to come. He said, what? Joe Frazier's giving a press conference? No way. Ali was back in his dressing room done. But he made it out there. You couldn't have that. That's why the fight was so great, because neither one of those fighters had any kind of quit in them whatsoever. Appreciate you, Jay Gibson. There's a link, and then we got some other stuff too. If you know somebody hit it. Let's see what we got here. Come on, Floyd. We're gonna talk about Floyd's final fight with Andrew. No, not Andrew Berto. Andre. I was gonna say Andrew Berto. Andre Berto, right? Not Andrew. Andre. Come on, man. There it is. It's been 10 years since Floyd's final fight. You believe that? It don't seem that long. But it's been 10 years. Well, he fought Conor Brett after that. I don't count that. That Conor, what's his name? Conor, what's his name? But Greg, I don't count that. I count Berto as the final fight. Final fight against a real boxer, put it that way, was Berto. Anybody think about no Conor Brett? That was just a money grab, you know. And I ain't mad at him. But I don't count that. Now, by all rights and standards, the superb, you might even say flawless ring career of the so-called TBE came to an end 10 years ago. Where it was a decade ago that Floyd Mayweather outboxed and outclassed Andre Berto in what was his 5th defense of the world welterweight title. Now, going into that fight, there was plenty of speculation about who Money would fight. In fact, plenty of fans made it clear that they would like to see him box British star Amir Khan. Your Floyd never fought Amir. Amir was kind of young then, right? But when Mayweather announced he would be fighting Berto in his last fight, in fact, there were even some thoughts that Mayweather was messing around and joking when he said he would be fighting Berto in that fight. It's not to say that Berto was a bad fighter, not at all. But after his huge win over Manny Pacquiao, it was thought Floyd might face a more testing adversary in his finale, in his final fight, right? But Floyd's business mind and the Berto fight, okay? Then again, Floyd was always smart, even to the possible extent that he was a far cleverer businessman than he was a great fighter. Just as good at both, fighter and businessman. And why should Floyd take a hefty risk as far as losing in his final fight, right? Now, the big news came before the fight with Berto. This as a story broke of how Mayweather had used a drip of saline and vitamins ahead of his May 2015 fight of the century with Pacquiao. In doing so, Mayweather had broken Nevada State Athletic Commission rule. To some fans, this fact takes a lot away from Mayweather's win over Pacquiao. Not me. There wasn't nothing in the thing but water. Now, yeah, he could have fought Keith too, Jay. Great point. He could have fought, yeah, Keith was trying to get that fight too, Jay. That's a great point right there. Yep. Keith wanted the Floyd fight. He sure did. Now, as far as the Berto fight went, Floyd was aged 38 and a half. And he almost did what he pleased against Berto. Berto was 30-3 with 23 knockouts in there, and 6 years younger than Floyd. But he was never in the fight. Floyd winning by a commanding and lopsided scores of 120-108, 118-110, and 117-111. And then, of course, after Berto, the McGregor cash grab. That's why I counted Berto as his last fight, you know. His last real fight. Yeah, put it that way, his last real fight. Although McGregor officially counted on the record. But yeah, I look at that as an exhibition. What's up, Define Arnie?
How you doing, brother Cass?
Arnie Boxing. I'm still calling you Define Arnie.
That's fine, either way. I don't mind that at all. How you doing?
What's up? How you doing today?
I'm good, thank you. Great show, man. Great show.
You didn't come on last night, did you?
Yeah, I did a little later, like at 7:40. I went for like 4.5 hours, man. Like,
yeah, I was looking like 7, but I when you didn't come at 7, I said he probably not come. I didn't ever check back. Okay, he came later.
Okay. Yeah, for almost 5 hours, bro.
Wow,
like, man, it was good, bro. It was.
You did a marathon.
Yeah, we talked about everything under the sun.
Okay.
I wanted to ask you something about one of the fights that you put on. Man, I forgot. That's fine.
Today?
Yeah.
Okay.
Firpo. Oh yeah, the Firpo fight. That's when he knocked him out of the ring, right?
Yeah, he knocked Dempsey out of the ring. It was 9 knockdowns in the first round, right? And then it ended in the second with another knockdown. So it was 10 in 2 rounds. That was crazy. Yeah.
Firpo was built like a brick house.
Yeah, they called him the Wall Bull of the Pampas. He was from Argentina. I think
La Pampa. I know where that is. I know where La Pampa is. Yeah, I know Argentina very good.
He was the first Latin fighter to fight for the heavyweight championship.
I did not know that.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yep, he sure was.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I just confirmed last night that there's 5 fights this weekend, bro. Can you believe that?
Okay. Wow. 5 cards. I did not know that.
You got the obviously everybody knows about the Boots and also
that's the
Dave Allen. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Also the Dave Allen over UK, but Karen Chukassian is fighting and
Karen fighting. Okay.
Yeah, he's fighting over in I think Latvia or something like that, and it's gonna be on the zone.
Okay, where's Karen from originally?
What's the other one? Joanly Feliciano on
and Hernandez.
Karen is Ukrainian.
Okay, Ukraine. Okay.
And Joanly Hernandez is gonna fight on Sunday.
I'm glad you told me him because I have never seen him live. I've seen film of him, but I've never seen him in an actual fight yet. But I'm gonna see it this weekend.
Yeah, I got a feeling you're gonna love that guy.
Mm-hmm.
And on Friday, there's another one, but I mean, give me a second because I don't remember the names. And we're getting a treat now, aren't we?
Yeah. Wow.
Let's see.
Five
Boxing, upcoming fights. I'm
Yeah,
almost
Boots is a big one. I knew about that one. I didn't know about Hernandez though, but yeah, I want to see that one. Who is
Brown.
Hernandez fighting? Anybody? Any kind of name that we know about?
Carlos Mohamed Rodriguez is his name.
Okay.
He's got a few losses and everything. We shall see.
I have to check him out. Yeah.
Deontay Brown versus Grimaldi Machuca from Venezuela. That's the fight that is Friday, tomorrow at 8 p.m. in the zone.
Okay. The zone?
Yep.
Oh, right. Yeah, I subscribed to them, so yeah, I got that.
And then Chukatsian versus Mafawad. I'm sure I'm killing the pronunciation, but
you're doing better than me. I just call it Karen, the first one. Yeah.
Karen is how you actually pronounce it. Everybody's like Karen. I'm like, guys, please. I'm like,
yeah. The man name ain't Karen. I used to call him Karen too. So.
The Joel his opponent is from Argentina. That's gonna be at 10 a.m. I might actually. What time?
In the morning?
Yeah.
From where?
Yeah, because
where's it at?
They're gonna be over in It's in Eastern Europe for sure. So,
they're going by their time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's like 7 hours difference at least, or something like that. So
yeah.
Kind of like a Saudi type of.
Only time I get up, but 10 a.m. ain't bad.
No, not at all. Not at all.
It ain't like Monster, like 3 o'clock in the morning.
Right, or
But I get up for them for Monster. That's the only one I would get up that time in the morning for.
Yeah, I get up for Opetaya sometimes, but I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of hard.
Yeah,
it's kind of hard. But yeah, that's. I mean, what do you think about Allen versus Makhmudov? Who do you think?
Who is it now?
Dave Allen, the guy that beat Johnny Fisher.
Yeah. And who?
And Makhmudov, the guy that lost to Caballel and Vianello.
Okay.
Yeah. That's okay.
Yeah.
If you don't know them, that's
the big
fine.
Russian guy?
Yes.
The big Russian guy.
Looks like a Bond villain, bro. For real.
Yeah. I'm not too sold on him.
Me neither.
Caballel made him quit for body shots, remember?
Exactly. And Guido Vianello beat the snot out of him as well. So
now, I don't know too much about Allen, but I'm not.
He beat Johnny Fisher. He had 2 fights with.
Yeah. So
we'll see.
Is that this weekend too?
Yeah, 11 a.m. That's over in the UK.
Yeah. Wow.
And obviously, Boots is at night. It starts at 5 p.m. But Boots' fight is gonna be surely. And Vianello is the co-main because Khalil Coe and Jesse Hart is not happening anymore. Remember?
Oh, it's not. Okay. Yeah. Wow.
So Vianello versus the Canadian.
The co-main.
Yeah, versus a Canadian named Alexis Barriere or something like that.
Yeah, I heard of him. What's up, Shaw? In the building.
Well, how you doing, Shawa? God bless. Always great to see you.
What were you saying now?
I assume Ennis and Vianello is going to be around 8 or 9, something like that. Because that's in Philly. So
yeah. But wow,
and,
a lot of fighting going on this weekend.
Let me ask you something. Let me ask you this. Do you think? Do you? All right. Let me rephrase. Do you
think what Andy said? Talk about Makhmudov. He said his coaches are still hitting him. This is mid-second to go distance his core. Go ahead.
Do you think? Do you give Thurman a shot against Fundora, the Giraffe Man?
Man, I don't know. It's gonna be tough for him, but I don't know. How can he win? What does he need to do? I mean, he still got his escapability and stuff, so we're gonna have to
I like what Ant said.
Big ring, I think. Hope it's a big ring.
I think he can pull it off. I really like the analysis that Ant gave me once I was in Casual's Corner. He was showing me the Brian Mendoza fight, how Brian Mendoza was able to go around him and everything. And I like that. I hope he pulls it off. Bro, if Thurman pulls it off, bro, I'm having some Dom Perignon, bro. I'm not gonna lie. because this is his last shot, right? It's like, I mean, I don't know, who
Probably so.
knows, right? But
Probably so. Yeah. I
yeah,
don't know though. It might not. Well, even if he loses and does real good, might not be it for him.
yeah, I can
Go
see
the
that.
distance,
I
a
can see
close
that happening.
decision or something.
Yeah, maybe like wobbles him here and there, and
Yeah.
and makes it like a majority, like something like that, like
Because
yeah,
Keith
I can
ain't
see.
in bad shape because he didn't fight a whole lot, so his body, he wasn't in a whole bunch of wars and stuff like that.
Not really. Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, he had a few injuries. I think he had an accident as well. I mean, he had a war against Sean Porter for sure, but that was a
that
minute
one.
ago.
That one.
The Pacquiao one wasn't really a war. He got clipped and what have you. The Danny Garcia one was very good as well, but that was a minute ago as well. So
That was a while back.
um,
He never fought like 3-4 times a year and stuff like that.
yeah, I don't think so. Yeah, he always had an injury or something happening.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, I'm not gonna lie. I always kind of like Keith Thurman. As much as people, say about him, because he never. There's a case to be made that he dodged both Errol Spence and Bud Crawford. There's a case to be made there, but the Sean Porter fight, bro, that's an unforgettable fight to me. That's an amazing fight. So yeah.
Keith was looking at the way that he wanted the Floyd fight and didn't get it, so he looked at Earl and Bud and them like put them in that situation Floyd put him in.
Yes.
So he said, hey, I didn't get that Floyd fight, so it's not wrong for me to not get them guys to fight. Fight each other. I'm not saying it's right, but I think he kind of looked at it like that.
Yeah.
Keith got 32 fights, 31-1. Only lost to Pacquiao.
Yeah, that's it. But my thing is that here's the $1 million question, if you will, right? Is it too big of a? I mean, the answer is yes, right? But is it too big of a jump from Brock freaking Jarvis all the way up to the Giraffe Man Fundora? Like, obviously it is, right? Like,
yes, in talent level, yeah,
absolutely.
But that ain't saying he can't win it, though.
He's been there before, though, so I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Off of that.
It's
man,
interesting.
It is. It is. What else I wanted to ask you? Go ahead.
What do you think about Lubin and Virgil Ortiz fight?
That's a good one. I don't like Virgil at all. He do I respect him? Yes, for sure. I mean, but I don't like it. I don't like how he rolls. I don't like how he's doing things. I'm hoping Lubin pulls it off, man. That's another one. If Lubin pulls it off, I'm ordering not one but two Dom Perignon, one for Keith and one for Lubin.
You think who you have favorite? You got Virgil favorite to win it?
Subjectively, I got Lubin.
Okay.
Objectively, I got
a lot of people got Lubin. I've been listening, on some channels lately. A lot of people talking about Lubin. Stoppage. That might be from the heart,
Yeah, for sure.
Like
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. But man, because Lubin is another one. Like if he loses this fight, who knows if you're gonna get another one, right? Another shot at.
That's true.
Because he had it with Charlo, and then he came up just short with Fundora, and he had the Ramos fight. It's a lot of question marks.
Yeah.
So,
he got the win in the Ramos, though. Remember?
He did, but a lot of people think he shouldn't have.
Right.
So
right. A lot of people think.
I gotta watch that again because I think I remember I had Ramos as well, but I'm not sure. I saw that fight only once, so I definitely.
Yeah, I never watched that again either. That
for
one.
Sure.
Yeah, I wasn't that interested in that one. But do we get Boots and Virgil next?
That's what I want.
Win?
And Eddie said if Virgil doesn't happen, then we're going after Bakram or Fundora.
Okay.
So I mean, I wouldn't mind it either way. Virgil's the one that I really want because I think Boots is just gonna massacre him.
Yeah, I think so.
But
I think Virgil is overrated, man.
I think so too, and I mean, he's good. Okay, I don't want to make
Yeah,
it
he's
seem
good.
like
He's good.
but he ain't my cup of tea. He's not. So we'll see because Boachu got a rock.
Yeah, but they kind of like put him up on that pedestal, like he the next Julio Cesar Chavez or something.
Give me a break. Yeah,
no,
not
that's what they want him to be. And then he's been doing a little ducking too there.
I mean, not for nothing. I mean, Mexico does need a new star. I was in one of their channels the other day, and they were emphasizing that, like, Canelo's obviously at the end. So who's the one? Is it gonna be Pitbull? Is it gonna be Espinosa? They mention a whole lot of names. Because
Bam. Well, Bam is American, right?
Yeah, no, but yeah, they were going with Mexican Americans as well, and they were mentioning Bam.
Well, I would say Bam would have the best chance.
Even Benavides, but
okay. Okay. So they go a Mexican American too then. Okay, so yeah.
But they in the same spot we in. Like we need a big star. Like that's why we're getting behind Sander the way we are, and they're getting behind Virgil and what's the name of this guy? You had Olascuaga, but Olascuaga got the lower weight curse. So like Collazo and all the rest of them. So
I would say Benavides or Bam. More so than Virgil, though,
I think so too.
Yeah,
because Bam is about to unify yet again with Puma Martinez. And
he's fighting. This is the second fight this year, right?
Oh, they're fighting on the same card. Yeah, I just realized. Yeah. I mean, I just remember.
Right? Bam is active, man.
Yeah, Yeah, he beat Fumalele Cafu not too long ago, who was a champion as well. And I mean. We'll see, but I don't have Bam having too much trouble with Puma Martinez because Puma Martinez is one of those Argentinians that are, not too skilled, but he has the heart, he has the power, he has the stamina, but lacking the skills, And Bam has all of that as well, plus the skills,
Right, plus the skills. That's a good point. You got Bam, got all of that heart and everything, plus the skills to go along with it, right?
Yeah. I think he's.
I don't see too much trouble neither in that one. So is this at 118? This fight is Bam at 118?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Give me a second. I'm not so sure. Give me 1 second. Because Junto was 122. Forget it. Yeah.
I think he went up. Yeah.
No, I think.
But they still could. There's only what 4 pounds.
God, I'm not sure.
By the time Bam rehydrate 118, 122, he probably still at the same weight by the fight time. So
no, it is I'm sorry, it's 115. 115 is
okay.
Yeah, because Junto was 118. I just remember, and he just moved up to 122. So yeah,
maybe we get the monster fight.
Oh, it will. I mean, they both got to handle business in that December card. They got Picasso for Naoya, and then you got who's the one Junto's fighting? I just forgot. He's fighting another Japanese fighter, but I can't remember.
I didn't pay no attention to it. I don't think it's going to be no problem. I'm just looking at Junto and Monster. What else can they do next if they both win? What else?
No, that's basically set. Naoya called him out, and Junto was there when he beat MJ.
Right.
He was in attendance, and Inoue called him out, and I like what they're doing because Junto got to get a fight at 122, and he is getting it on December.
That's a good move.
To get acclimated. But Junto and Naoya, Inoue, good God Almighty! I mean, that's
what everybody wants.
Heck yeah.
Everybody wants. Down in the lower weights. Like
Who you got in that one?
Junto.
Me too, bro. That's the samurai. I'm rocking with Junto Nakatani all day, bro.
Might stop him.
I think so too. Low key.
He might stop him. I wouldn't be surprised.
The people in the chat, who y'all got in Junto versus Naoya?
I wouldn't be surprised at all, man. If we get Monster up out of there.
Because, he's been dropped before more than once.
Yeah.
And
just have been dropped by the right.
Junto's got a missile of a left hand, man.
That's right.
I'm telling you.
And that's what Monster seemed like he'd be susceptible to that left. No? He just have been dropped by the right left yet.
Exactly.
Shawa got Junto
Neri
too.
And Cardenas.
Yep. Stop it, Shawa.
Got Junto. Yeah, give me some sauce. You see decision or stoppage?
Nakatani and Inoue called roll together at the fights over there. That's going to be huge over there in Japan. Wow.
Oh my goodness.
It's like Fury and Joshua in the UK and Great
Exactly.
Britain.
Exactly. That's going to break all the records they got.
Yeah.
For sure.
What's that big arena monster always fight at in Tokyo? I can't think of the name of it.
I think it's the Tokyo Dome, but I'm not
sure. Might be that one. It'll definitely be there. Because he fought at a few different places, but I think I'm thinking about the Tokyo Dome. That fight will have to be there.
They have that
it's like
projected
a stadium, right?
Exactly. It's like their MSG or their their Wembley.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
because some of them been in arenas, but this one would have to be there. You know.
Heck yeah.
You can't put them in no
Justin James got the monster.
Seat arena. Yeah.
Round 7. I was picking the round. I like it.
Ooh,
I like it.
Round 7. Okay. Yeah, that sounds about right. Around the middle. Round in there. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that sounds about right too. Yep.
But the best thing is they getting together, you know. That's the best part of it all.
Yeah, man. They got to fight. And listen, they're both legends anyway.
Yeah. Because so many of them we don't get, you know?
Yep.
These big matchups like that in the same weight class, so many of them we don't get. So that's the thing. Look at 140, all those big names down there, and, you know, we getting Pitbull and Lamont Roach.
Right.
I don't want to see that.
To be fair,
I'm not calling them garbage, but you know, who wants to see that? Pitbull and Lamont Roach. Come on,
I mean, the one that I want to see Pitbull with, and I've been adamant about this, is Subriel. But to be fair, you know, Subriel is going to defend, and Gary Antoine Russell is also going to defend. Who knows what Hitchens is going to do, and Teo's in talks with Shakur. So, you know, everyone's kind of busy. So if you're Pitbull, you got to do something, right?
Yeah. Who is Gary Antoine fighting?
Andy Hiroka.
Okay.
He's fighting him on the...
This guy that stopped LaRosa. That's not a bad matchup.
Not at all. And he's the co-main, I think, for Jake Paul and Tank.
Yeah, that's not bad at all. No. Hiroka is dangerous.
He is. He's number 1, you know?
Yeah.
But
I had heard that before, but I forgot about his opponent. But yeah, that couldn't be good. So that card is shaping up. They got any other fights that's on that Tank Jake Paul card other than that one?
Yeah. They got. Give me a second. I'll let you know. Let me go to the schedule here.
They was talking about Andy Cruz and Murataya.
Yeah. That was ordered.
Is that done?
I mean, it was ordered, but they're still negotiating.
Who you got in that one?
Ooh,
that's a good one too. I like Murataya, man. I don't know.
I'm not high on Murataya personally.
From the fight where
the Abdullah fight,
they eliminated against what was the guy, Russian or so? I know it's Eastern European guy.
Saud Abdullah. Yeah, Saud Abdullah, and
him.
The Tank Davis
card. He wasn't sold on Murataya. Yeah,
he's good. Don't get me wrong, but I think Andy Cruz is the real deal, personally.
Yeah.
But Alicia Baumgartner is also in the card of Tank and Paul, and Ellie Scottney, and Avius Griffin versus Cesar Francis, and Yocasta Valle. I think she's a Dominican fighter versus Jadira. So you got 3 lady fights and 3 male fights. You know,
no Clarissa Shields and Layla Ali.
Nah, not as of yet.
We talked about that a while back.
Is that even happening, man? Like, I don't know.
I don't think so. She's been out the ring too long, man.
Exactly. I mean, at the very least, you need something before Clarissa. You can't jump.
She's almost 50. And she's almost 50 years old. Been out the ring 20. That girl might go in there and get hurt, even against the GOAT, man. Boxing, you can't play with boxing, man. They shouldn't even license. They shouldn't give her no license, man.
If they are going to do it, they gotta put somebody first. You can't just do it straight up, because you know that's bad news, man. Like,
and people say, well, B-Hop was 49, but B-Hop was constantly fighting. He didn't take no 20 years off.
Right. And B-Hop is a late bloomer. Like the best years of B-Hop was late 30s, early 40s.
And the main thing, he was fighting. You know, he didn't have a 20-year gap in there.
No,
so that's
too
not
long.
even a comparison. A guy tried to told me to make that comparison the other day when we was talking about Laila Ali. He was talking about, well, B-Hop was 49, but B-Hop was fighting. He didn't take no 20 years off, man. That's not even a good comparison right there. Hell no.
I just subscribed to Drunk Irishman as well. He's got Sam Langford as a picture, so definitely.
Drunk Irishman is it? What's up, the Drunk Irishman? Good to see you today.
So yeah, no, I hope it doesn't happen. I'm with Shawa there. I hope it doesn't happen, really.
Ali and Shields.
Ali wouldn't even fight Laila. Ali, I should clarify that. Laila. Ali wouldn't
even fight Laila and Clarissa?
Yeah, she wouldn't even fight Ann Wolf, bro.
That ain't happening.
She's gonna fight.
No, she didn't. That's not happening. She old, been out the ring too long and too old, man. Yeah. She don't even deserve a boxing license now. They got to stop doing that stuff. Is Manny fighting again or what?
Manny, yeah, they're close to. They're close to finishing. Sit down
somewhere, man.
They're close to finishing the Rolly fight. That's gonna be in January, though.
Rolly might hurt that. Rolly can punch, man.
I think so too. I think that's a whole.
If you don't go in there and do what Barrios did and really fight, he might hurt Manny.
Yeah, because Rolly's strong, man, and Rolly goes to the fight. You know, Rolly's not the boxer, technical, this and that. Nah, yeah. Rolly's
swinging for the fences.
Yeah.
Look what Usyk did to him. Remember? And he was younger, a couple years younger than Usyk and Pacquiao. Remember? So man, no, I don't know. I don't know why they get these old fighters licenses. They should make some kind of law or something.
Absolutely, Shawa. Absolutely. Shout out to Salas. He got Rolly looking good. Yeah, he deserves all the credit. Yeah, and David Morrell, I heard David Morrell is trying to, because he broke up with Ronnie Shields. He's trying to get with
Salas. Did he get anybody else yet?
He's trying to get Salas. We'll see how that happens. It's either Salas or I can't remember. Oh, Abel Sanchez is the other one.
That'd be a good one too. Wonder why he left Ronnie Shields. I thought
they had no chemistry whatsoever. He wasn't listening to him. David wasn't listening to him. And
try to lose their first fight a lot. They do that a lot of times. Leave the trainer.
No, but he didn't left him after Benavidez. He left him after Kataev.
Yeah, but he hadn't lost, but he still had his first loss by then. That's all I'm trying to say. But if he wasn't listening to Shields, what did make you think he'll listen to his next trainer? That might not be the trainer. That might be his attitude.
That's what's. I'm gonna tell you the truth. Morrell's starting to piss me off, man, because he's feeling himself way too much.
He always been kind of arrogant, like to me.
Yeah, you haven't even won a world title yet, bro.
You have done nothing.
This is Berlanga type of arrogance.
Your biggest fight, you got beat. Your first biggest step up, you lost. You have done nothing.
I mean,
he always been kind of arrogant. Yeah.
He did beat Hard Rod. I got to give him some dash for that. But you gotta do more than that, because I was singing his praises for the longest time. I thought this guy was the next big thing for real, and I think he can still. Yeah. By the way, I think he's fighting Callum Smith. By the way,
still might be. Yeah, he still might be.
I think so.
You gotta listen to your trainer.
Especially when he's been there, done that, and got the T-shirt like Ronnie Shields. Like, this ain't no young behind the ear new trainer. This is a legend, bro. He's got champions before you were even born, probably.
And ain't that what you're paying him for?
Exactly.
I mean, it's like wasting your money if you ain't gonna listen to him. That's crazy, right? That's
absolutely
crazy. But yeah, he got another one, so we'll see. So you say Abel Sanchez or Salas, those are both good trainers for him.
I think so too. I think those are both great choices. Salas or Abel Sanchez. I love Abel Sanchez.
But they ain't putting up with no nonsense. If he ain't listening, he gonna have to get another new trainer. You know what I mean?
No, and if that happens again, he might really damage his reputation.
Yeah. What's up, man? You're right. Yeah.
How you doing, Ant?
Good afternoon, gentlemen. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. What's happening?
Man, I got caught up in the hype too.
Well,
yeah, the knockouts and all that stuff. And then I went back and looked at his fights, dating back to the amateurs. I said, this man has never exhibited any type of growth as a professional. He fights the exact same way he fought as an amateur.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes that's a good thing, because you do have guys who get away from the fundamentals when they turn pro. Let's say if
Yeah,
they
that's
got
good. Yeah, that can be good.
a
Yeah.
big punch or some type of dynamic quality that affords them to bypass adhering to the fundamentals.
Mm-hmm.
Deontay Wilder, as an amateur, he looked pretty damn good. You know, I would implore anybody to go check out his amateur fights. He actually did quite a bit of boxing. He was working the jab. His footwork looked a lot better than he did
I'm gonna have to look
as
at
a
it. I've never
pro.
seen him in the amateurs.
He was
Was
pretty solid.
he with Mark Brilliant since then?
That I am not sure. I know he's been with Mark Breland as a professional. I'm not sure
Yeah.
if he was with him in the amateurs, but in the amateurs, you know, he got a bronze medal in the
Yeah.
Olympics, but he wasn't scoring a lot of knockouts.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And
He was not. He
late,
wasn't scoring a lot of knockouts. He was winning by boxing.
Mm.
He turned pro. They find out that the guy has a wicked right hand, and it's all she wrote. And then these guys have to be perfect for 12 rounds. I only have to be perfect for 2 seconds was born.
Right.
And when that becomes your mindset, then all of those other things get washed to the wayside. So
yeah.
with David Morrell, it's like some of his punches, he's not turning them over. He's got one of the nastiest uppercuts, and I don't mean that in a good way.
Mm-hmm.
I mean that is no disrespect, but
right.
And then there's just certain little things that he does. I feel like he's got everything that he needs to be just a terrific fighter. I think he's solid. I don't think he's trash or anything like that. I think he's solid. But given his attributes, I mean, you look at the length, the guy's got pretty good reach.
Mm-hmm.
He's got pretty good hand speed. But the thing that's so frustrating is you seldom see him put his punches together. It's generally like a big shot at a time. But if he were to take some of that power off and utilize his speed and quickness a little bit more, I think he'd be even more dangerous, more dynamic, because he's got everything that he needs to be a combination puncher, I should say, and even a good counter puncher.
Definitely.
I also think he needs to be a little versatile on the defensive end. He relies on that high guard shelling up
Too
way
much.
too much. Yeah.
Too much. And the adherence to the high guard isn't necessarily the issue itself, because you can fight out of the high guard as your primary defense if you just want to use that as a shell defense. Canelo Alvarez made a career out of it. But the thing with Canelo Alvarez is he also combined that with head movement as well. Exactly. David Morrell is just static high guard. It never moves. You seldom see him pick off shots or block shots. He just puts his hands up, and you can punch around his guard. You can punch through his guard. You can punch underneath his guard. Shawwa alluded to the Hot Rod fight. Me personally, I actually felt like Hot Rod won the fight when I rewatched it several times, because I was genuinely struggling to find rounds to give David Morrell. And then another thing that was extremely alarming was how many times Ronnie Shields had to try to coax him into fighting for the entirety of a round. It happened at least like 2-3 times in that fight in the second half. From like round 6 on, Ronnie is screaming at him, "You can't give effing rounds away. You giving rounds away because you ain't doing you ain't working." The same thing showed up in the David Benavidez fight as well.
Yeah, sure it did.
I'll say this real quick about Canelo. Canelo's high guard, more than anything to me, he uses it as a trap. I think the Caleb Plant fight is a great example of that. You know, but go ahead. I just wanted to say that.
That's all Canelo's fights, and I think that's just a staple of Eddie Reynoso's system. Because Ryan Garcia, when he went over there to Reynoso, he was fighting the same way. Oscar Valdez fought in a very similar fashion, where, like you said, the high guard serves as somewhat of a Venus flytrap. You shoot a jab at it, and then the reaction is the left hook, and it comes out almost automatically, without thought. And I think that's one of the things that it makes them equally dangerous and equally predictable. So it's like if you can control the high guard, and then also combined with the style of footwork that they utilize, back to front, back to front, back to front, back to front. You can time them in between their steps, and then you can predict what punches are going to come out. So you punch at the high guard, pardon me, probably over 90% of the time, the counter is going to be a left hook. Seldom do you see them throw a right hand out of the high guard like that. Like out of the trap, it's damn near always the left hook. And then with Canelo, when he comes forward, it's pro right hand, sets the right hand up almost the same way every time. But the average fighter, 9 times out of 10, they're going to succumb to that type of pressure that those guys present. So it's very effective. And then you got the really good fighters or the elite fighters where they're able to recognize that and circumvent it. But with David Morrell, I think he's got everything that he needs to be a very, very good fighter. And something that you guys said about the trainer, I think that he's also got to take a look at himself and ask himself some questions. Because one thing you'll see with him is, regardless of what's going on in the fight, he's always looking to play to the crowd. And it's like, dude, you just got punched on the last round. The David Benavidez fight is a perfect example of it. The guy peels your guard 3 times in one exchange.
Yeah.
Peels your guard 3 times and hits you with the same exact punch in succession. Why the hell are you doing the Ali shuffle when you're going back to your corner? Like, now is not the time to play. You got to be a little bit more serious in there. And the same thing was happening in the Katayev fight. Like, he tried to do the shuffle, and then Katayev cracked him and ended up dropping him. It's like, bro, you're in the middle of a dog fight with a dude who's dead serious. He's coming forward. He's throwing nothing but heat. Why the hell are you showboating?
Way too much. Like, I can see that once or twice, maybe as a decoy or whatever, but way too much, man. He overdid that.
Way too much, bro. Way too much. But then you also see it when he's training, too. There's so many videos of him training where he's dancing as he's hitting the heavy bag and doing a little shuffle as he's hitting the heavy bag. And then he fights the same way. Even with his footwork, I think that the guy, he clearly has good coordination, good agility. I feel like his footwork should be better. And then what happened prior to the David Benavidez fight was many of us, we were attributing things to him simply on the basis of him being Cuban. Oh, he's Cuban, so he must have good feet. Like, no.
I definitely was doing that.
Me too. Guilty as charged.
Yeah.
Then you see him in the fight, he throws a straight left hand, and he can't hold his position. He can't maintain his position. More often than not, when he's throwing his left hand, when he's throwing his power shots, he's falling in. That's not good footwork. You know, like, footwork isn't just being able to move around, fleet of foot, having speed and having agility. Because you had guys like Chavez Sr., as you guys were talking about a couple minutes ago. Chavez Sr. didn't have the fastest feet, but he had damn good footwork because, for one, he was always in position to throw a punch, which is something that David Morrell is not. He's not always in position to do. Because sometimes he's crossing his feet. Sometimes his feet are just way too close. He's breaking his base. Then other times he's just way too wide with his stance. He doesn't have like uniform footwork that just carries him throughout the fight. Like, it varies on an exchange to exchange basis.
And when you're so wide in your feet, you can't even pivot to an angle properly because you're going to be out of position. You know, you got to be in that shoulder width as far as your feet go in order to be able to pivot in angles like a Loma does or like a Canizales does, you know, the cream of the crop as far as that is concerned. Just too many flaws, you know, for us.
And easily correctable things, too, because he's got the athleticism to supplement the fundamentals. Like Teddy Atlas always says, First, you got to do things right, and then you add speed to them, and now you're really cooking with grease. That's why you see a guy like Nawaya Inoue. His style is basic as hell. It's super duper fundamental, but he's so quick, so athletic that it just magnifies.
Maybe that he's not improving. That comes from not listening to his trainer. You know.
That's another one too, Shawa, with the level changes. Like the guy will squat down, and as opposed to like changing levels and stabbing to the body, or changing levels, getting low and exploding from that position, he'll squat down, hop back up, then throw the punch. And Hot Rod was timing him throughout the whole fight. Every time he did that, he was either beating him to the punch, or he was taking a half step back and countering him, or he was just making a miss, because that's an egregious tell. And it doesn't matter how fast you are. If there's something that precedes your attack, all you got to do is read that. It's a hell of a telegraph that he has a lot of times.
And it's a weird squat, because he squats kind of like he's gonna dunk a basketball or something. Like there's no purpose to it, as far as I can tell.
Agreed. And that's what I was saying. It's one thing to change levels, but if you're going to change levels, if you're down there, either go to the body, or if you squat down, get low and throw high. Get low, throw high, maybe get your head off the line as you're throwing. And you made a great point about the wide stance and the inability to pivot. So you know what happens generally, right? He gets so deep where his lead foot is all the way behind the opponent's lead foot, and then he's got that wide stance. And to your point, it's very difficult to pivot. So what does he have to do? The only option is to pull straight out.
Yep.
So then now you're getting caught as you're disengaging.
Yeah, he's a sitting duck for a 1-2 or an overhand. I mean, you name it.
But again, just to reiterate, I think that the guy is talented enough to where if he gets with somebody who can just have him doing the basics, forget about it. This dude could be fantastic, because he's got everything you need. He's got speed, power,
for sure,
and he's got really good size. He's about 6'1", 6'2", 77-inch reach or something like that. Like, come on, man.
And he can take a punch. Like, he can take a punch too. So
yes,
I mean, all that's missing, like you said, is like, let's get back to the drawing board. Like, so let's make sure we don't do this, because guys are gonna start picking up on this. And if you're gonna fight Callum Smith, and if you're gonna be fighting now all these guys, that have been there, done that, and got the T-shirt. I mean, you can't be doing such obvious mistakes like that, man. It's a matter of time before you get exposed, really.
Yeah, I say to some degree, some things have been exposed, and I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean it in a literal sense.
Yeah.
That there's been several fights that have been revelatory, in a sense, that they've highlighted some of the deficiencies in his methods more so than anything. Because it's one thing to have unconventional punch style, right? Like David Benavidez, conversely, everything he does isn't pretty. But the one thing that I do like about him is that there's a lot of attention to detail. Like, he's somebody who knows how to use what it is that he has. And then you can tell that the guy has great awareness. He's not just out there going through the motions. When I seen him launch into a gazelle punch and transition into a cross block before his feet hit the mat, I said, yo, this dude is on another level in terms of awareness and ingenuity, because you don't really see that too often.
Not at all.
He did that versus Vazek. I was like, holy crap. Like, this dude, you could just tell he's like a sponge. Like, he just soaks things up. And when they work on things with him, they're very purposeful. Because early on in his career, He was stiff as hell at the knees. He was like a G.I. Joe doll or something like that. Didn't bend at the knees whatsoever. Shawai and myself and T Hill, we were watching that Dennis Duggan fight. His footwork was gross. It was atrocious. Like he couldn't throw a right hand without that dead leg, as Shawa calls it, without that dead leg just sweeping forward. Then you fast forward to the Boo Boo fight. Now this guy is changing levels. He's able to generate a little bit more power on his right hand because he can squash the bug with his back foot. The back foot's not dragging forward anymore. Then when he is squaring up, he's doing it with purpose. Like one of the smartest things I've seen him do with his feet as far as squaring up is concerned, in the Boo Boo fight and in the Vosdick fight, there were moments where both of those guys were trying to escape out to a certain side. He squared up and galloped, like literally, like moved laterally and beat them to the spot and then threw a body shot in the direction where they were going. Now they got to go back the other way and reset. I'm like, yo, this dude, he just gets it. And David Morrell, that's the one thing I do question about him. It's like, I don't think that he's completely oblivious to what's going on in the ring. He's not a complete idiot, but I do question the IQ at times. Because there was a moment in the David Benavidez fight where I was like, why the hell would you do that? When he was along the ropes, and then he just switched orthodox for no reason. Ate a left hook and then switched back to southpaw. It's like, why didn't you just go back the other way? He literally just switched orthodox and then just drifted into a left hook.
Yeah, I remember that.
So it seems like he's on autopilot at times. And then the other part is this.
Yeah.
If the guy pails your guard 3 times in succession in one exchange, how in the hell is this guy able to do it repeatedly throughout the fight?
At will.
You should know every time this guy reaches across, this is what he's looking to do. And you should have some course of action, some type of contingency. If he does this, then I do that. Even if it's just to back off and disengage. Or if it's he's trying to peel, let me just throw a punch. Or if he's going to peel, let me smother. Do something. But to just sit there and allowing it to happen repeatedly, it's just like, what are you thinking?
But don't you think that's part of the problem of the high guard? Because you look at David, and David is so smart, bro. I mean, Benavidez, that is. He's so smart because he will put the left hand on top in a way where it's very hard for you to see it, especially when you got your 2 hands up blocking your vision as it is. So, I mean, it's like a byproduct of that, nasty habit of going high guard, and way too high, by the way, because if you see that high guard, his glove is basically on top of his head. It should be around like the eyebrow area, so you can cover your body as well. But don't you think that has something to do with it or no?
Hey, that's a great point. Yeah, I mean, if your vision is obstructed, you're clearly not going to be able to see stuff. You're not going to see anything coming over the top. You're not going to see anything coming underneath. You're likely not going to be able to see anything around the guard. You just have that small window. So what you just said makes a lot of sense. And that's even more the reason to have an active guard. So at least if you do have your hands up, and also to your credit, man, the positioning of it, like maybe around like cheek level or something like that.
Yeah. I mean, I was taught in when I trained that it should be around the orbital bone, the top of the glove, so that you can cover the liver and the and most of the chin and the head. Whereas if you get hit in the head, it's like on top of the head, around the temple area, which is not nice, but at least you can see the punches coming way better than otherwise. That's what I was taught, But obviously, I was never, anywhere near this level, so who knows,
No, but I mean, that's sound. The basics are the basics, no matter what level you're on. The basics are the basics. And not only that, I mean, to your point, again, about being able to cover surface area. Just think about just like how long your arms are from the top of your hands. Let's say if you got your guard up to your elbows. And he's got long arms too. So you would think it would behoove him to just drop his hands a little bit more, because then now he can defend the body and the head at the same time. But also just vary the guard up every now and again. I mean, I understand the high guard in certain situations. Like, let's say if you want to play possum to some degree and signal to your opponent that you're in a defensive state, so you want him to open up and let his hands go, and then maybe you want to time him and slip a shot in there. Like, that makes a lot of sense to do something like that. But to just be in that all the time, David Benavidez is another one. Like, I think he's got a really good high guard too, because it's active. It's active. And then not only that, but it also transforms, it morphs. He won't just be in a static high guard. Sometimes he'll transition into a cross block. Sometimes he'll transition into like a pseudo shell. Sometimes, you know what I'm saying, he'll just be in a shoulder roll in a brief instance. It just varies. And then not only that, but the hands, the position of the hands themselves, they move. Like, I always look at his high guard and I liken them to windshield wipers. If you have windshield wipers on your car, you get caught out there in a rainstorm and they're just fixed in one position, what good does that do you? You need those things to swipe from side to side to be able to deflect. And not only that, but to your point, bros, remove any obstruction from your vision. Because, yeah, you got your feet and so on and so forth, but that's your ultimate first line of defense, your eyes.
Definitely.
Your eyes send a signal to the brain, down to the feet, through the rest of the body, so on and so forth. Your eyes and your spatial awareness. And it's like with Morrell, he's just high guard, high guard, high guard, especially when he's tired. Forget about it.
Do you think that what do you think? You think it takes about a year to get to, clean, to get all those things cleaned up, would you say? Or I don't know. It's hard to put like a timeline. I would say about 6 months, to really lab work, like really get into it and listen and just be humble and just, get serious. I would say 6 months because I think he's that good, but he got to get serious, bro. Because Callum Smith is no joke, bro. You get hit by that left hook, bro, something might happen, man. Like, but, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, Callum Smith got a beautiful left hook, man. That one that he landed on that guy that had him convulsing.
Yeah, Lenin Castillo. That was bad, man.
That was disgusting. That was gross.
Yeah.
That was
he's
gross.
Dangerous, and he's big, and and that's a real big dude right there, man. Like,
Yeah, I don't know how in the world he was making 68.
Yeah, me neither. Yeah, me neither.
Because he is a big guy. And he's a quality fighter. He's definitely a quality fighter. As far as how long it takes, I would say everybody's different. And I think that the main thing is just focus and repetition. Focus and repetition. And then just also finding as many ways as possible to apply it. So apply it in the pad work, apply it in the shadow boxing, apply it when hitting the bag, apply it in sparring, and just be very intentional about it. Just be very intentional about it, because there have been guys to, I'll give you an example. Chris Eubank Jr., when he was fighting with Roy Jones, he used to have that real loose style, almost like he was emulating Roy Jones. Remember, he got hit with that elbow versus Liam Smith. But in that fight, he was taking a lot of clean shots in that fight, simply just because he had his hand down. Then when they ran it back, they did the rematch. He had Bomac in his corner, and if you listen to the broadcast, the Sky Sports broadcast, it might have been, the entire fight, you can hear Bomac remind him every time his hands dropped, he was telling him, pick your effing hands up. You can hear him screaming anytime his hands dropped or anytime he did something. And they had special codes that they were yelling out. When he needed him to do something specific, he'd be like, Andre Ward. I think little
Yeah.
things like that are important to have those cues. And I think that's what makes that team really good. The fact that they have 3 guys that are able to see different things between Bomac, Red, and Saul.
Bernie. Oh, okay. No, yeah.
Those are the main 3. Yeah, Bernie, you can put him in there too because he's supplemental. But Bomac, Red, and Saul, that's the big 3 over there.
Okay.
But those guys are very particular. So if one guy sees something, then they take notes. I heard Bomac talking about their process. So they run it no different than you would an NBA team or even an NFL team, where you have one guy who's the head coach, then you have another guy who does all of the offensive coordinating and then the defensive coordinating. So in the rematch for Liam Smith, they placed a huge emphasis on defensive responsibility. And it worked to a large degree. And like I was saying, every time Chris Eubank would fall in to an old pattern, they made sure he heard about it. And it wasn't when he got back to the corner.
And
they were telling him this mid-fight.
And not to cut you off real quick, I heard Bomac say just that to Simon Jordan over in the UK because he's in the Eubank Junior camp for Ben 2, and he was saying that. He was saying, like, my focus is offense, this guy focus more on the defense, the other guy, he was like, and it was so interesting because that way you get different perspectives and you get no stone unturned. You cover all the you know what I'm saying? Like, you cover everything, every aspect of the game. Because it's not, I don't think it's good for one guy to look at everything. You might miss something there, so you focus on his defensive work, you focus on, I don't know, what his opponent, and I'm going to focus on the offense or something like that. And that way you get the best of each worlds instead of like covering too much ground, and you might end up biting more than you can chew as a trainer or whatever the case may be. So I think that's brilliant. And he said that to Simon Jordan. Like, he broke that down. I was like, man, that's why this guy is the real deal, Yeah.
Oh yeah, and you also have to have a lot of security within yourself, because you see a lot of guys who coach, they don't want to let anybody near their charge because they want the credit as well. So to say, you know what, I'm gonna let this guy take care of this, and I'm gonna allow him to commandeer the ship for a moment. Tell me what you see. We could compare notes and all that things. It's a brilliant thing, man. It's a beautiful thing because it's a very collaborative process. And I would also say that they incorporate the fighters' feedback into it as well. So they actually listen to their guys. They're not just, hey, you got to do this. And if you look, their guys have various styles. Like when they had Cal Cruz, like, he doesn't fight like Bud. Bud doesn't fight like Lester Martinez.
Yep.
Lester Martinez doesn't fight like Avius Griffin.
Keyshawn as well. Yeah, absolutely.
And that's how Eddie Futch was as well, where, you could have Ken Norton and Trevor Burbrick and Joe Frazier, a whole bunch of different guys with different styles. Larry Holmes. Different guys with different styles, and he was able to get whatever he needed to get out of them, but most importantly, able to take their attributes and impose it on a game plan. Because 4 of his Ali's losses were to Eddie Futch fighters, and all of those guys got different styles and different attributes.
Absolutely.
But the main focus was taking away his jab. So with Frazier being the smallest of all of those guys, He's coming underneath the jab. It's bob and weave, and get underneath and counter and punch in between. Ken Norton, he's not as loosey goosey up top, so you can't rely on the head movement. But what can you do? Put that backhand out in the front and catch the jab of Ali and jab with him same time. And then double up at times, get him to the ropes, go to his body. So, yeah, any coach who's willing to take feedback from somebody else is a wise man. Because to your point, nobody has to do it all alone. Now, there are some guys who can, but if you can get some sound counsel from somebody else, why not?
All right.
Yeah,
I'm back. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna get ready to get out. But you coming on tonight? Do you find anyone?
I'm not sure. I might do it. It's just that I went for so long last night, bro, that I'm like, I'm talked out. Nah, I'm kidding. I might do it, but I'm not sure.
Yeah. What about the Nate's Casuals corner breakdown, eh? I've been missing.
And are you gonna go later yourself or not sure?
Yes, am I gonna go on?
Yeah.
If I do, it's gonna have to be an old fight because I literally just got out of YouTube jail.
Oh, okay.
YouTube jail, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's from that night when we were watching Fundora versus
the PBC one, yeah. Mendoza.
Yeah, Fundora versus Mendoza. Yeah, the PBC. Of course, they would hit me with something, but it was worth it though because I got some insight myself, and I'm hearing Keith Thurman saying that the priority is going to be Fundora's body. So, got to see if he's going to incorporate the angles like Mendoza was able to in the first couple of rounds. Get outside the lead. Left hook to the body, straight right to the body. Take some steam out of him. He definitely can't afford to attack him on a straight line, though, because Fundora, one thing that he's really good at is if you duck down in front of him, he'll run you into an uppercut. He's got that thing in a bag.
Yeah. Man, I'm hoping with all my heart that Keith Thurman pulls this off. I'm not gonna lie. I want to say another thing. Rest in peace to Arturo Gatti Jr., bro. What a tragedy, man. That's real bad. Real bad. They found him in Mexico, 17 years old, bro.
Wow.
I read the article. He wanted to honor his father by becoming a pro. He was shooting for the Olympics first. And I was like, I mean, it's one thing if you're Ricky Hatton or Gotti, which is bad enough, right? Or Kawi, but I still, at least you already, did what you did, right? But this guy was, oh man, that's bad, bro. So
what was he doing in Mexico? Training or something?
I'm not sure, actually.
Okay.
I'm not sure. I'm guessing that's what it is,
Yeah.
But,
yeah, I heard. I didn't get any detail. I'm gonna read up on it later, but I heard about it. Yeah, I just heard about it earlier today.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. 17 years old. Wow.
Yeah, that's about it. I appreciate you guys as always. You guys, you already know. I love talking to you guys.
Oh man, yeah.
I probably will go on, guys. I'm not gonna. I probably because last night I only did 10. I'm going 20 as the groups. Knockouts and must-see fights and.
Wow, you said you was on 4 hours.
4.5 hours. It's just that we talked about everything. A bunch of people jumped in the panel. We talked some wrestling for a while, and then we did boxing.
I'm gonna go back and look at it. I'm gonna go back and check out the replay.
We spent like 1 hour talking about wrestling, so you could feel free to fast forward that part. I know you don't want to do that, but yeah. But I'm gonna do the other 10 if nothing else later tonight. If I don't go on, then it's gonna be tomorrow. But I probably
All right, I'm gonna go watch your.
Feel free to drop IENT if you will, well, and anybody in the chat,
Yeah. Okay, I appreciate y'all. We're gonna
Appreciate you, fellas. God bless. See y'all soon.
Kind of wavering on Tyson Fury tomorrow now. It's got a lot of nonsense in it, but we'll see. But I appreciate Ed McQueen and Define Arnie with the great boxing talk on the panel today. And we'll be back tomorrow afternoon with the profile, life and career of somebody tomorrow. Kind of wavering on Tyson Fury now. I was looking at him, but it's kind of a lot of stuff unrelated to boxing. So, and I don't feel like doing a whole bunch of research and stuff. So the life and career of somebody tomorrow. Okay, but I appreciate everybody for coming through today. And I guess Just Do Boxing is already in progress. Hope everybody enjoyed the heavyweight fights today that we talked about. It was like 20 of them, 20 or 20, 25 of them, I think. But we'll be back tomorrow. Again, appreciate Ed McQueen and Define Arnie on the panel and everybody in the chat today. 1,000% for the support. There we go. I had lost the chat. Okay, appreciate you, Shawa. I got to end the show, right? If it's Monday through Friday at 2 p.m., it's the Boxtorian bringing you all that boxing history. Appreciate everybody, 1,000,000%. Everybody have a good